Proverbs chapter 7 verses 12 to 22. At times, she was in the streets, at times in the marketplaces, lurking and setting her ambush at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and with a brazen and impudent face she said to him, I have peace offerings with me. Today I have paid my vows. So I came out to meet you, that you might share with me the feast of my offering. Diligently I sought your face, and I have found you. I have spread my couch with coverings and cushions of tapestry, with colored fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us drink our fill of love until morning. Let us console and delight ourselves with love. For my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He has taken a bag of money with him, and he will come home on the appointed day. With her many persuasions, she caused him to yield. With her flattering lips, she seduced him. Suddenly he went after her, as an ox goes to the slaughter, not knowing the outcome, or as one in stocks going to the correction, to be given to a fool. The more she talks, the more his resistance melts. With a little more flattery, she caused him to yield. So she caught him and kissed him. She favored a god who would receive her peace offerings, while she lived as she pleased when it came to her sexual desires. I came out to meet you, diligently to seek your face. As a result of instinct or experience, the seductress knew how to make the simple young man feel wanted. By displaying her desire, she could capture his attention. That is all the seduction some people require. She appeals to the young man's male ego as she flatters him and makes him think he's very special to her. What she's offering to him, she would never offer to anyone else. Wiersbe. We then read, I've spread my bed with tapestry. In addition to this, she allured him with the anticipation of a sensory experience that was directly linked to her bed. The young man was promised wonderful pleasures. Myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. She now stimulates him with aphrodisiac smells. All three names for perfumes in this verse are also found in Song chapter 4, verse 14, as odoriferous images of sexual love. Waltke. We read, Let us take our fill of love until morning. She became more explicit in her invitations, though she still misused the word love. Although she offered him a kind of love, it wasn't the best or most lasting. Though it would be a delight, it would bring pain, misery, and death in the end. We read, For my husband is not at home. In light of this, it becomes clear that this was not a lady of the night, but an adulterous woman. As a result of her betrayal, she sullied her marriage vow and violated her honor and faithfulness to God. She then says, He has gone on a long journey. Last but not least, she persuaded the young simple man that this was safe and would have no repercussions. People commit sexual immorality when they feel there is little or no risk of being discovered. With her enticing speech, she caused him to yield. She succeeded in seducing him at the end of it all. The simple young man was enticed by her enticing speech and flattering lips to commit sexual sin with her. Through words and actions, she guided her victim through 7 steps of seduction. We read 7 traits in this seduction. Number 1. A well-chosen target. We read about a simple man. Number 2. Provocatively clothed. We read with the attire of a harlot. Number 3. of bad character. Number 4. Looking to trap and seduce. Number 5. Free with physical affection. We read that she kissed him in Proverbs chapter 7, verse 13. Number 6. She pursues to make one feel desired. She says, "I came out to meet you diligently." Number 7. She promises to please the senses. She says, "I have spread my bed. I have perfumed my bed." Although God wonderfully designs the body for the reception and assimilation of food, there is one certain thing. The body is not for sexual immorality, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. God never intended for the human body to be used for vile or impure purposes when He created it. Rather, He intended for it to be used for the Lord's glory and blessed service. This verse contains something incredible that should not be overlooked. Not only is the body for the Lord, but the thought that the Lord is for the body is even more wonderful. This means that the Lord is concerned about our bodies, their well-being, and proper use. God desires that our bodies be presented to Him as a living sacrifice that is holy and acceptable. Proverbs chapter 5, verses 8 to 14. Remove your way far from her, and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others, and your years to the cruel one. Lest aliens be filled with your wealth, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner. And you mourn at last, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and say, "How I have hated instruction, and my heart despised correction. I have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to those who instructed me. I was on the verge of total ruin, in the midst of the assembly and congregation." Solomon did not advise his son to remain in the immoral woman's presence and test his ability to resist her seduction. Keeping a distance from her house was the best defense. The Apostle Paul would write much later in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verses 22 and 23. "Flee also youthful lusts, but pursue righteousness, faith, love, peace, with those who call on the Lord out of a pure heart. But avoid foolish and ignorant disputes, knowing that they generate strife." Timothy was probably about 35 years of age at this time. Therefore, youthful lusts do not necessarily mean such lusts as would be particularly characteristic of a teenager, but would include all the unholy desires that would present themselves to a young servant of the Lord and seek to divert him from the path of purity and righteousness. Not only is Timothy to flee. The longer one stays in the presence of such enticement to evil, the worse the danger becomes. We must remove our way far from her, not only in presence, but also in heart and mind. We must put away the enticements common to our day and work for a mindset on things above.